now we get to go diving right into the issues of America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. So, Jimmy, as I looked at this game, I didn't understand what happened here because on my solo, I talked about how I thought that the Cowboys had a chance. I now don't think I'm not as optimistic as I was before. So, as I close this opening rant out, Jimmy, what are your thoughts on our favorite subject of the day, the Dallas Cowboys versus Dallas Cowboys?
Man, so you lose 38-10 on Monday Night Football in front of the eyes of the world who are tuning in to try to figure out what this team is going to look like in the post-Dak era, at least for this season. And to explain what happened in this game, I got to go with the person who blamed themselves for the loss. Now, it's not all this person's fault, but they're shouldering all the blame. Their words, not mine.
Yes.
And that is Ezekiel Elliott. Zeke had another game where he had 2 fumbles, lost both of them in this game, and I believe they scored off of each of those turnovers.
Yes.
Yeah. So without that, obviously it's a much closer game. You put your team at a deficit when that happens, and Zeke did not look anywhere like himself. He looked lost, and I was thinking about this sort of in metaphoric terms in terms of how he could fumble the ball. And he's fumbled this season earlier, but this game it was crucial not to do that because now he understands that the pressure and the weight of the team is on him. So what came to me was that, imagine the football as the Dallas Cowboys franchise, which is now in the hands of Zeke, now your best player. And, who may even been their best player before Dak went down. So you could see that the weight of the franchise was too much for his hands to carry, which is why he couldn't keep a hold of the ball, which is why he kept fumbling, because he's not built that way. Yes, he's great, but just because you're great doesn't mean that you can shoulder the load of a franchise, especially not only any franchise, but the franchise in the NFL and probably all of professional sports based on valuation.
America's team.
Yeah, because when Dak is there, when the O-line is in front of him, he can just stay in his lane and say, all I have to do is my job. Now he's trying to do the job of the leader, and he sees how difficult it is, which should also make them appreciate Dak even more for shouldering that load of the team and carrying them and being able to do it, to me, as best as most quarterbacks will be able to do that. So this 38-10 loss primarily falls on Zeke. He took the blame for it because he's not built to be able to carry the entire franchise, and that's why he kept fumbling the ball.
I can totally see that. The one observation I got from the game was just that Zeke can't carry this team. The other issue, it's not really an issue. It's actually, I actually would like to applaud Zeke.
Yeah.
For actually taking the initiative and understanding that because Dak is out, you really can't rely on Dalton like that yet, that he needs to shoulder this load. And he just got ahead of himself. He's young. He's what, 23, 20, well, he's 24-ish?
Yeah, right about 24, 25-ish.
He's a young guy, and he went in there and he thought that he needed to be the one to carry this offense and make it go. And because of that, he kept putting himself in positions that were beneficial to the team throughout the game. That catch that he made that he ended up turning into a fumble, which technically could have probably been a drop pass. Yeah. But he did take maybe like a step and a half. That's him taking initiative and understanding that I need to be prepared and be there for this quarterback who's trying to get an understanding of our offense and get an understanding of our rhythm and get an understanding of our chemistry as a team. Even though he's been there through quote unquote training camp, he gets that I need to be more active on the offensive side in preparation for us trying to figure out how to move forward. So I applaud Zeke for that, but he screwed up the whole game. Those 2 fumbles were bad.
Right, I mean, very, very bad. And in the history of the NFL, what running backs come to mind who have actually been able to carry their franchise? It doesn't seem like the running back position is built to be able to carry an entire franchise on their back. Because think about the history of the greats. Emmitt Smith, because of the team around him, he never had to be in a position to carry the entire franchise. Walter Payton, he was a part of that 85 Bears team, right? Maybe the best defense in the history of the NFL.
Sweetness.
Yeah, Barry Sanders. They put nothing in front of him or around him. He could not carry that franchise as much as I love Barry Sanders. So the only running back I can think of is maybe Jim Brown back in the 60s had to carry the team. Outside of that, I can't think of too many running backs who have been able to do that because the position is not meant to do that. The quarterback position, yes. On defense, maybe middle linebacker. But outside of that, your position is not built to be able to carry the load.
It isn't. And I'm trying to think. Let's go back into the history of running backs. Can you name a star running back that actually has a Super Bowl with them being the best player on the team?
Right.
Now, as far as Super Bowl MVPs, let me see. You got Terrell Davis.
That's the only name that comes to mind.
That's actually the last person I can think of as I'm going through every year in my head now. I can't think of anybody that really led a team to the Super Bowl and ended up being the Super Bowl MVP. Because you're right. It's not common. It's not something you can really do.
No, so therefore, isn't it true that in moments like this, when you lose your star quarterback who has been the face and the carrier of your franchise, isn't the coaching staff, albeit new, aren't they supposed to be the ones to step up and actually carry the load and direct the ship?
Jimmy, that's what they're supposed to do. Now, is that something that they will do? No, but is that what they're supposed to do? Yes, you're 100% right. The Cowboys need to start firing people. We talked about this about 2 or 3 episodes ago. If you look back on our videos, I have one, Who Should Jerry Jones Fire? That is the title. I'll put it up here so you can look at it.
Right.
But who should Jerry Jones fire? Jerry Jones needs to fire somebody. Somebody's got to go.
Well, you seem like you have ideas of who that should be.
Yeah.
Who do you think? Who should go first?
Mike Nolan's got to go. Fire him today. Fire him yesterday. You should have fired him back when I told you to fire him 2 shows ago, because his defenses are atrocious, and we actually had players already speak out and say that that they don't know what they're doing, they're not good at their jobs, and in that, guess what that falls back on? The head coach. Now, I'm not saying Mike McCarthy should be fired today, but I don't think Mike McCarthy should last through the season. I'm not gonna lie. He was handed a beautiful platter, of offensive threats and so defense. I mean, I get that Jerry Jones really loves Van Der Esch and Sean Lee, even though they can never stay healthy. You're still given a very solid setup for a team, and you're just fumbling the bag badly. What's going to help McCarthy is the fact that he's in the NFC least. That's the only thing that's going to be the saving grace for him right now. But the fact that his offense is the top offense in the league. Hell, if I'm correct, Dak still is the number 1 passing yards quarterback in the league.
Yes, he is.
He didn't play this week.
That's true.
That's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. It's probably more so a bad thing because he was throwing it because they were always behind. That's an issue. So Mike McCarthy needs to figure out what they're going to do offensively. I mentioned this in my solo. I got a solution. You ready for it?
I'm ready for it.
Go hire Hugh Jackson.
Why?
So
that's interesting. I wasn't expecting that. Why?
Yes,
Hugh
go
Jackson?
hire Hugh Jackson. Bring Hugh Jackson in either as a special assistant or as whatever, something on the offensive side. Quarterback coach, fire somebody there, do whatever. But bring him in. Hugh Jackson knows Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's best 4-year run with the Cincinnati Bengals, Hugh Jackson was on the offensive staff. From quarterbacks coach, I think he's wide receiver coach, as well as the offensive coordinator. Hugh Jackson knows Andy Dalton. Bring him in. Andy Dalton will throw for 4,000 yards.
But that's the thing, though. Even if you bring in Hugh Jackson and Andy Dalton plays like he's actually played the quarterback position before, which he did not look like he did last night, that puts you in the same position with your offense, where your offense is clicking, but your defense, they're nowhere to be found. They're on pace to give up a historic amount of points, Jay. So that's not going to fix that. You have to figure out, at least with this defense, you have to figure out a way to get them to play not like a team who knows they have no shot. Last night, they had no juice, no energy, no belief, and you could see it on defense that they believe they have no shot now. So you need somebody who can at least fix that on the defense to give your offense a shot, because I think that because of those pieces that they still have on offense, Andy Dalton is in a better position to actually play better during the weeks to come, as opposed to whatever the hell is going on with that defense.
So let's look at what the defense did in this game.
Okay.
We of course, we've shaded them the entire time before we move on.
Right.
Punt, punt, punt. 3 straight punts. The only reason why the Cardinals started scoring was those 2 fumbles. Gives them good field positioning. If those 2 fumbles did not happen, that's a 27-yard touchdown basically drive. The other one was 54 yards because of that catch. But outside of that, they held them to a touchdown the entire first half. They quit after those 2 fumbles and the 3rd touchdown, which the 3rd touchdown was what? The 80-yard bomb.
That was the one, Kirk?
Yes. So if those 2 fumbles don't happen, that defense does not fall asleep on the game. They don't quit, basically, because they quit before that. They quit right there after that second fumble with the 27 yards and it's 14-0. They're like, Andy Dalton ain't going to be able to get no offense going. Zeke can't hold the ball.
Like
so guess what?
We are screwed.
We're screwed.
Yep.
And so they quit.
Because then came the big Hopkins catch. Then came the Kenyon Drake 69-yard touchdown
All
run.
second half.
And
They basically.
Kenyon Drake does not do that.
Oh, don't forget. As soon as they came into the second half, guess what happened? Interception. So the turnovers kept going. And then another interception. So it's really hard for the defense. This is final thought on this.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to help your defense. And the way you help your defense is don't turn the damn ball over in bad spots.
Right.
Period.
Right.